welcome to the last tackle, your Rugby League magazine show. In the studio this week, I'm delighted to welcome a regular. He's a record caps holder for Great Britain and England. It's Adrian Morley, and making his debut, but certainly not a debut, in the Betfred Super League. It's St Helens' Carl Amor. Carl, thanks for coming in. First of all, how's the mood in the camp at Saints?
Yeah, terrific. You know, we've started off exactly where we wanted to. Obviously, we had the two good wins against Hull FC and Catalan previous, and yeah, look, we've all really enjoyed a pre-season, and this is the exciting part as players now. You know, all the training's done, all the cold mornings are hopefully done, yeah, we just get to do what we get paid to do, and that's just get out there and play rugby together and have a good time while we're doing it.
In the build-up to the season, us pundits were certainly talking about St Helens record-breaking, winning 4 and a bounce. Have you spoken about that in the squad? No, not at all. You know, you'd be a liar to think that in your own head that it hasn't been something that you thought about. But as a group and as a collective, we haven't. We've just wanted to, replicate the standards that we set every day throughout training, and just keep striving for them. You know, keep on top of them as much as we can, whether it's training or through games or how we live our lives off the field, and just still remain hungry. I think that's the biggest thing. And, you know, so far, I don't think we've missed a beat, Mark. Moz, I loved what his teammate Alex Walmsley said. He said, we're not defending the trophy, we're attacking it. Well,
that's a fantastic way to look at the new season, and judging on them 2 games, they are attacking very much so. So as Kyle alluded to, they've not missed a beat. They've started this season how they finished last season. That's absolutely fantastic. And you've got to say, even though it's only 2 games into the Super League, Saints are the team to beat. You know, they're looking like they're favourites, and they've been the best team for the last 4 or 5 years. And no one's ever done 4 on the bounce. And you'd be a brave man to bet against Saints from doing that this year.
We'll talk about Saints in detail, but let's start by looking back with Warrington beating Castleford 34-10. Of course, Moz is a former Warrington skipper, but the man of the match was Wizzy Rascal, wasn't it? How good was she bringing the ball out? That was brilliant, wasn't it?
Fantastic. You know, a bit of humour, but you know.
No, but Warrington have been good at that, haven't they? Under Carl Fitzpatrick, he thinks a bit out of the box, doesn't he?
He does, and you know, you need to. We're in an entertaining environment, and you know, the game speaks for itself. But you've got to do things off the pitch to keep everyone entertained, and you know, it's just another string to Fitz's bow, and it went slightly wrong, but went wrong in a funny way, which was great. But Warrington, you're right. You know, they had the light shows there at the LOL Jones Stadium. They do try everything, but I thought the performance was a lot better from the week before. I thought they did a real job on Castleford, and I think it was important for the home fans there at Warrington. And 2 out of 2 Warrington, it's a great start under Darryl Powell.
You've mentioned Darryl Powell, obviously very, very early days. He got Castleford to a grand final, got Castleford to 2 Challenge Cup finals. Are they going to play the kind of rugby that Warrington fans want to see as well?
I think so. I think, you know, wherever he's coached, Leeds or Castleford, they've played an attractive style of rugby league, and I think he's a fantastic fit for Warrington. I've said before, you know, from a limited squad there at Castleford to big spending Warrington, I think it's going to be fantastic. It's going to take a little bit of time for the team to gel, for him to really stamp his coaching thesis on the team. But I think they've got a great chance of getting a bit of silverware this year.
I don't know if I'm allowed to ask a St Helens player about Wigan, but anyway, Wigan.
Yeah.
I think they're much improved under Matty Peet.
Absolutely, yeah, I fully agree with that. I love what the new guys come and brought in for them. Jai Field, there was one incident there when they put a kick over, it was at Hull KR, they put a kick to the corner. He's caught it and just had the presence of mind to play straight away. We didn't really see an awful lot of that from Wigan last year. I thought they were perhaps at times a bit conservative how they played, but this year they're certainly throwing the ball around, and the pace that he showed at the DW against Leeds on Friday night was electric, wasn't it? And it's something that's going to make a lot of Wigan fans sit up and take notice, and the rest of the league as such. So, yeah, in with Cade Cust as well. I just think that they've and the couple of middles that they've brought in. I just think the work that Matty Peet, Lee Breers, people like that have put in. It's certainly showing up early days for Wigan.
Yeah, Jay Field was superb. Superb hat-trick as well. What about Leeds? It's 2 defeats now.
Yeah, I thought they was very unlucky.
They started well, didn't they?
Yeah,
they cost in try.
Yeah, they started great against Wigan. You know, for 20 minutes I thought they were the better side, and the week before against Warrington I thought they was very, very unfortunate to get the loss. I thought they were the better side. Probably 12 men really told in that game, but you know, consider themselves unlucky. I thought the did themselves a bit of disservice for 60 minutes there. But you know, Richard Agar's a smart coach. He's not going to panic. It's early days yet, but it's a big game. They've got the Catalan Dragons at home on Thursday night, so it's going to be tough. There's no easy games anymore, and you know, when you get the last season's grand finalists coming to your doorstep, it's a tough ask, but they've got a chance of getting off the mark on Thursday.
You just get a sense already. I know we're only round 3, but that Leeds Catalan game becomes a huge game, doesn't it? Yeah. And you know, I think it's certainly.
I don't think Catalan at the races yet, are they?
No, they've not quite hit the ground running. From, you know, you spoke about ourselves not missing a beat from last year. Well, Catalan look like they're sort of limping into it at the moment, and for Leeds Rhinos, you know, to get a win and get their season up and running at home, you know, you feel it's just it's a big game, isn't it?
Let's talk about your game at Hull. Yeah. First of all, a tribute to Johnny Whiteley, MBE. I thought that was fantastic.
Yeah, no,
very well done by Hull.
Absolutely, yeah. There was an awful lot of Hull FC fans in there showing their respect. You know, they had the club chaplain, I think it was, who gave a nice speech before it all, and it was a real celebration of a legend of the game, and very fitting, I thought. Now,
if you don't mind me saying, you're coming towards the end of your career.
That's right, yeah.
But some of those young lads in your team now. I mean, Jack Wellesby, are you sure he's only 20?
Yeah, no.
And Lois Dodd as well?
Yeah, no, incredible players. They're just the next one that keeps coming off the through the system, at Saints, and you know, they've been incredible. You know, we get excited as a game, don't we? And perhaps sometimes too much about young players, and we put an awful lot of pressure and stuff on them. But I just love the way that Jack Wellesby is as an individual off the field. There's no ego with him. He just gets on with it with just such a simple and graceful player as well, and you know, for what he's already won in the game, it's incredible. I remember back to when he won the League Leaders' Shield in 2018, and that was his debut. He came on for 5 minutes, managed to pick up a trophy, and poor Luke Douglas, who played 15 years in the NRL and never won anything. So, you know, he had a good laugh about that with him. But you know, he's done an awful lot in the game already, and long may that continue.
And Conrad Hurrell seems to fit right in.
Yeah, no, he's outstanding. You know, you get Conrad Hurrell fit and you get him happy, and you've got a blockbuster player there. He was a marquee sign at Leeds Rhinos, and you know, it didn't quite work out there, did it, for him? But he's come to us with a real hunger and determination, and obviously he's worked with Christian Wolff previously with Tonga, so they both know what to expect from each other, and so far he's done everything that's been asked of him. So fair play to Connie.
And your game was on Channel 4. You were on Channel 4 the week before doing the co-coms. How big is it for the game having terrestrial TV for the first time in its 26-year history?
Yeah, I think it's huge. You know, I think it's just a chance for more eyes, isn't it, Moz, you know, on the game, and you know, more and more viewers, and perhaps those, you know, there'll be families out there that can't maybe perhaps afford, you know, Sky Sports or anything, so it gives other kids and people an opportunity to see these wonderful athletes playing week in, week out, and I just think it's massive. You know, we've seen the viewing figures that have been published around that, and it can only be a good thing. And with the World Cup coming up at the end of the year, there's a lot of positivity around the game at the minute for me, and you know, I just think we should ride that wave as much as we can.
I'll just talk about the other two games on Saturday very quickly. Catalan Dragons, well, they were 16-4 up, they were 24-10 up. It finished 24-22 in the end against Wakefield. As we mentioned, Catalan Dragons not really got going, although they did have injuries and suspensions last Saturday. And Huddersfield 26, Hull KR 12 as well. That's 2 wins on the bounce for Huddersfield now. I thought Mikey Lewis did very well for Hull KR. I think Hull KR will get better. And on Sunday, Salford 38, Toulouse 12. You were there.
Yeah.
That's, you know, 2 on a bounce for Salford.
Yeah.
Because they started last year so poorly, didn't they?
They did. And, you know, the week before, I think it was a bit more of an impressive result, you know, to go away to Castleford and get the win there. Toulouse, I thought, were quite poor, and I think they're favourites to go straight back down. I don't see them doing a great deal in the Super League, unfortunately, this year, but the conditions were horrendous. I mean, the family got soaked going to the ground. We only watched 400 metres, but we was all shivering watching the game. But you can only play against what's in front of you, and Salford played particularly well, and Ken Seo went over for four tries, which is, you know, it's not a usual occurrence. So they did well. As I say, two wins out of 2. You can't do much better than that. So they'll be confident, and they've got Hull the weekend, and they'll go over to the I was going to say the Boulevard then, but they'll go over to the
K-Com,
and they'll be confident. So we'll see how they go.
Well, there's 5 100% records in the Betfred Super League, and one of those is at Warrington, and the heart of that so far this season has been George Williams. Let's find out more about him.
First game you remember attending as a kid, rugby league match?
First game would probably be grand final, Wigan v Bradford. Yeah, I went with my granddad. I was pretty young. I'd have been 8 if my maths is good. So I'd have been 8 years old. That was the first professional game I really remember. Wigan got beat, so it weren't a great day.
Where did you first play rugby league?
I started at Wigan St Patrick's, just obviously the local amateur team. My dad took me down, and yeah, never looked back.
What do you remember about your professional debut?
Nerves. I was obviously in the week. Sean Wayne told me that I was gonna debut, and every boy's dream is to debut for their own town club. So I was obviously over the moon. But then the next 3 days I couldn't sleep. But yeah, I managed to go for a try somehow, and yeah, it was probably a massive dream of mine come true. Sorry.
Favourite player growing up?
Yeah, they all seem to be going back to Wigan here, but yeah, obviously Wigan fan as a kid. Trent Barrett was my idol. He came over from Australia and he was unbelievable, as we all know. I like watching Tom Trbojevic. He's took the NRL by storm this year, and I like watching Nathan Cleary too. He's obviously in the same position as me, and I think he's obviously the best in the world at the moment in the number 7 jersey. So yeah, I'd probably say him. Best rugby league memory would probably be 2016 grand final win. Just because of the amount of boys that I come through the Wigan system with, we managed to win it, and the team was so young. There was probably 5 lads that I played academy with, and we'd just been through the whole journey together, and to get that ring at the end was pretty good. My England debuts were right near that. That's obviously a special moment for me and my family.
Favourite stadium you've ever played in apart from the home grounds that you played?
I'm a big Liverpool fan, so playing at Anfield was pretty cool. But favourite away ground to play at in Super League is at Edinburgh. I think it's one of the best, and the atmosphere is always brilliant. Great question. I weren't the brightest spark in school, so I think I'd be in sports somewhere doing something sport-wise, because that's all I've ever known really.
And then lastly, your favourite athlete outside of rugby league?
Ooh, favourite athlete. Again, I'm going to go back to my Liverpool, being a fanboy. It was Steven Gerrard, but at the moment it's probably Mo Salah.
And he's doing pretty well, Mo Salah, this season. Right then, George Williams, obviously full pre-season with Warrington, and he started well.
Yeah, he started very well. He's a world-class player, isn't he? And I'm good friends with Ricky Stewart, and when he went to the NRL, he was one of Canberra's better players, and he really did take it by storm, really. And I'm not sure how it ended over there, but the fact he's come back to Super League, it's a blessing for us. We get to see him week in, week out. So a full pre-season under Darryl Powell, and Darryl being an ex-halfback as well as Ryan Sheridan, who's on the coaching staff there, expecting big things from him and expecting big things from Warrington as well.
Come on, Em.
They've got a chance.
Is it there, yeah?
It's Warrington.
We've been doing this show about 5 years. You've said it's there year every year. Come on, lads.
They've started well. They're only going to improve.
They've got a good coach.
They've got a great coach, great squad. Saints are still a team to beat. We've mentioned that before, but Warrington have got a chance. They need to, as we know in Super League, just need to hit form at the right time. And if they get it right, come playoff time, that they've got a great chance. They've got a great chance in the Challenge Cup also, but yeah, I think they'll be pleased with how they've started, and as I say, they've got a lot of improvement in them.
Well, you're watching the last tackle here on the Sportsman's Rugby League, and this is your new home for the 13-man and woman game.
Don't miss a thing from the new home of Rugby League online.
Follow the Sportsman on social media
and follow the YouTube channel for exclusive content.
Yes, so Sportsman, your home of Rugby League. Please subscribe to the channel, because on Sunday as well, we are bringing you a Betfred Challenge Cup tie. It's York versus Newcastle in the 4th round. It's a 3 o'clock kickoff, And Carl, you're going to be the co-commentator alongside George Riley. Now, we've seen some great games in the Challenge Cup so far, haven't we?
Yeah, absolutely. And this is just another one of those. York and Newcastle both go into this game, a bit scratchy themselves, throughout the league. I think they've only picked up both of them 2 wins out of the 4 games. So, it's going to be an interesting game, that's for sure.
And how have you found the co-com so far? Look, without embarrassing you, I think you've taken it to really well.
Oh, yeah, look, it's something that I enjoy doing. It's something, doing bits of media all throughout my career is something that's been a bit of a passion for mine. And, I've had to do some games along the way, including something from the Betfred women's game and the wheelchair game as well. And I've been given opportunity to do the Channel 4 stuff, which was amazing. I really enjoyed it, and it was really nice to get a lot of good feedback from it as well. So this is just another opportunity, if you like, just to keep continue developing them skills.
I've heard you on 5 Live lots of times as well.
Yeah, of course, and I've done obviously other stuff with BBC as well along the way. So it's all been a good. I wouldn't say apprenticeship because I've still got a lot to learn in it, but I'm just enjoying being a part of the game as much as I can.
We're about to listen to Carl on Sunday, 3 o'clock kickoff, live on this YouTube channel for Sportsman. So it's York versus Newcastle in the Betfred Challenge Cup. Let's hear from both coaches.
We all know the nature of the Challenge Cup and the historic element behind it. It's always a great competition, especially for the low league teams, because there's that chance that you might come up against a Super League club later down the route. So it's certainly a big game. I'm sure both teams are preparing to their best ability for this one. I've got such great memories, particularly last year of playing in the Challenge Cup final and even getting there in the semi-final with Castleford, and it really is a special competition. To be able to take Newcastle as far along the route in this competition as possible would be absolutely fantastic, and it's something that we're all hoping for.
It's a fantastic competition, and obviously the 1895 Cup's intertwined with it for the League One and Championship teams as well, and obviously to go against Newcastle, relatively close in terms of location for York and Newcastle, and we're looking forward to a really, really tough challenge. Yeah, I think it'd be great for the supporters and the club to eventually progress, I hope for progress into the next round and get a team of that kind of ilk. But we're facing a very tough test in Newcastle, full-time team. One very convincing on the weekend. We've got a couple of bumps and bruises as well, so there'll be some changes to our 17 this week, and probably likely to give some of the younger end a run and see where they're at.
There we are, the Betfred Challenge Cup. That's live on the Sportsman on Sunday, York versus Newcastle. This weekend on the BBC, it's a Batley Bulldogs versus a Royal Navy as well. We showed that game against the Army. What a cracker that game was. And live on Premier Sports as well, doing a brilliant job on the Betfred Championship, Lee versus Widnes on Monday night. And the Challenge Cup final this year, you'll be hoping to get to it. It's at the Tottenham Stadium, and I tell you, I was lucky enough to have a look around Christmas with the RFL. It is a fantastic stadium.
Yeah, no, again, that's something else that I've not really thought about that until you said that. But I'm sure Moz will agree as well. As a player, you just want to play in as many big games and as many big venues as you can, and that's just another one. I am a bit of a traditionalist. I do like it at Wembley. I think
it's a one-off.
It'll be a fantastic occasion, and it'll just be a bit of a different twist to it, won't it, with it being at Tottenham.
Yeah, so the Challenge Cup live on the Sportsman on Sunday afternoon, and Carl will be doing the co-commentary. Let's turn our attention to the Betfred Super League matches this week. And for one of your old clubs, Moz, I think this is a big game. I know it's very, very early on this season. Live on Sky on Thursday night, Leeds versus the Catalan Dragons. Leeds need to get some points on the board.
They do, and Carl spoke about it before. To be this early on in the in the league for Leeds to be a must-win game, really. You know, they need a win for the fans and just to get a bit of confidence going through the camp. But I think they've got it in their arsenal. You mentioned before, Catalans have not started particularly well either, and you know, I think the last couple of years they've got out of, when they travel away, you can beat them, you know, the poor travellers, but they've got that out of their system now. So it'll be tough, but I don't think Catalans are firing, as you say. So I think Leeds, you know, because the pressure's on a little bit, I think Leeds will get the win on Thursday.
Because what really surprised me about the Catalans last week, Carl, I mean, they went 16-4 up, 24-10 up. Normally when the Catalans do that at home, we're out of sight then, aren't they?
Yeah, definitely. And that, you know, those are obviously, look, you've mentioned the people they've got missing, the injuries, the suspensions, and that will play a large part in that. However, what will annoy Steve McNamara, I think, is that the fact that there's clearly a bit of a you know, perhaps an attitude thing when you allow a team to come back in like that. I think that'll be a bit of a warning shot for them. So you know, it's again, like Moss said, there was times where Catalan would travel away and you could almost guarantee you win. Steve McNamara's got that out of the system, and I believe that they'll come over and they'll certainly give it a crack. I think with it being Leeds at Headingley, you know, your attitude looks after itself there. It has to be right up there, and it'll be an almighty contest. That'll be, you know, one that I'll be watching on with interest.
That's live on Sky. Also on Thursday night, Wigan versus Huddersfield. Both teams unbeaten.
Yeah. You know, Huddersfield, I seen their game over in France, and you know, while I wasn't particularly impressed with Toulouse, I thought Huddersfield had enough just to go about the bit. I thought it was a real professional performance what they did. You had to just be patient, and then the points racked up in the second half. But I do think Wigan will be too strong for Huddersfield in that game.
Live on Sky on Friday night, Moz, Hull KR versus Castleford. I do think Hull KR will get better. In glimpses, Mikey Lewis was superb on the weekend.
You know, towards the end of last year, you've got to say Hull KR with the form team of Super League, they were absolutely fantastic, you know, playing some really attractive rugby league. I thought they'd start this season the same, but they've not. They've come off 2 losses. Castleford, you know, they started the season with a lot of raps on them. You know, people expected them to do well and certainly be in the playoffs. They've not started great either, so it's, you know, 2 teams looking for the first win. The fact that it's at Hull KR, and you're right, I think they are going to click. I just think Hull KR will have a bit too much for Castleford.
Also on Friday night, St Helens Wakefield.
Yeah, well, obviously, I think Saints will win that one. But no, look, Wakefield have shown that they're always they're always a team that won't just lie down and go away.
Well,
you know,
showing them out against Catalans,
absolutely.
They keep going to the end, don't
and
they?
again, they had an awful lot of personnel missing in that game as well. The likes of Jacob Miller and you know, Kalapi Tanganoa and people like that. So, you know, that they'll be, I've no doubt those blokes will come back in and make it a real good contest. So, you know, we've just got to make sure that we prepare as best as we can. You know, it's the same sort of answers every week. But it's so true. You know, any sort of success is built upon, you know, those little things chalked off every week. Your preparation, your effort, your energy, and that's what we'll have to bring against this Wakefield side on Friday night.
What difference have you noticed between Justin Holbrook and Christian Wolff?
Oh, good question. I think they're both 2 very different coaches within their own right. They both obviously have the same, you know, interest, and they want to get the best out of all the players. That's a given. But I think Christian, one of his biggest attributes is just his honesty and his clarity around everything that he does. You know, a spade's a spade with him. You know, if you're not playing, he lets you know why. And just his attention to detail, in particularly in defence, is something that I think that, you know, the whole competition has seen from us in the last 2 years. I think under Christian Wolff, we've kind of gone up another level, certainly defensively, and you know, the old saying is that defence wins your trophies, isn't it? So, and that's proved so far so true.
Because I was looking, what was incredible for Christian, I think he had 6 games.
Yeah.
And then we went into lockdown.
Yeah.
And he didn't play for months. I mean, that must have been so tough for him.
Yeah.
Other side of the world as well.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, look, that was the time he came in off the back of Justin Holbrook, and you know, I think we went 3 from 3 actually before lockdown, and you know, it was a big change. He brought in a lot of wrestling side of stuff, and you know, a lot of people were sat there scratching their head thinking, well, how can you change, you know, this side that Justin Holbrook's done, how can they get better? Because we won the league then by a record points margin, if you remember, and our attack was so good. But you know, when he came in and the lockdown happened, it just allowed everybody to, you know, go away and rethink about what exactly we wanted to do. When you win a trophy, to come back in the next year, the biggest thing about trying to go back to back in success is that lack of desire, or that lack of and I know that sounds a bit harsh, that a lack of desire, but it's just that little drop off you get comfortable.
I think teams get complacent.
Yeah. So it's having that bit between your teeth to want to push yourself harder and go again. And I think the lockdown showed us all, really, we got to sit back and go, well, look, that's gone now. This is the new season. We've not started great. Everybody wants to knock us off. What are we going to do about it as players? And we just went away, worked hard, and when we come back, you know, we everything that was sown throughout the club had just all been bought into, and we were ready to go, and we haven't looked back since.
And do you think last season that remarkable game at Magic possibly helped you?
Yeah, no, certainly. Look, it was.
Did you regroup after and thought, right, this can't happen again?
Absolutely. You know, the manner that happened, it just makes me laugh now, because, you know, there was 5 minutes to go, 6 minutes to go, up by 3 tries, and I remember at the time thinking, right, they just scored a try, so I'm thinking there's 4 minutes left, 2 tries, just kick the ball down there, do our job. And then in a blink of an eye, it got into extra time, and I was sat there just wondering how on earth that had happened. But I knew that you know, a couple hours after that game, that was a good thing for us, because we'd been travelling so well and winning. We'd just maybe perhaps forgotten that we're not unbeatable. Do you know what I mean? And this team showed us that, and it just gave us a real uppercut to realise that, look, we're not as good as what we think we are here. We've got to keep working hard, and we've got to keep turning the screw all the time, not just for 75 minutes. And then I thought in the grand final, when they had an abundance of pressure on our line in the last sort of 8 to 10 minutes of that grand final, the mentality of that game a few weeks earlier kicked back in, and that's what's seen us home, I believe.
That's why they've won 3 in a bounce, isn't it?
That's why they won 3 in a bounce. But yeah, it's great. You know, all ups and downs throughout the season, but it's great. You know, you can learn more from a loss sometimes than you can from a win. So it was certainly helped the Saints last year.
Right, on Saturday, Hull FC versus Salford. Hull FC beat Wigan the first week, Salford unbeaten.
Yeah, this is probably the toughest pick of the round for me. I think Salford are very confident after 2 wins in 2 games. I'm just pleased that, you know, the Salford winning, there's still a number of players who could potentially make that team who are unavailable through their injury or one reason or another. But I think the fact that Hull got a bit of a hiding last week, you know, they'll have a reaction. The fact that it's at home, it might be just a bit too much for Salford, but it'll be a close one. But I'm just going for Hull just to nick it.
And finally, Toulouse, Warrington. Toulouse are going to find it tough this term, aren't they?
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. You know, they lost the 2 playmakers that was well documented at the start of the season. You know, I watched that game a couple of weeks ago, and you know, to go through the regular rounds consistently, I just can't. You know, once the competition gets into 8, 9, 10 rounds, it becomes increasingly difficult, and you rely on your squad and your depth of your squad, and I just don't think they've got it there. It is difficult because of the time they have in the recruitment process, that when they finish the league, that a lot of the good players are already signed up and gone, aren't they? So they do have it difficult coming up from the Championship, but I just I do fear a long slog for Toulouse this season.
Right, we're running out of time, but something I don't ignore, there's been 4 sending-offs so far this season, Moz. And obviously the headline one is Luke Gale. He's got 5 games. I mean, look, we know Luke. Luke's not malicious, but what was he thinking of?
Well, it was just a rush of blood to the head, wasn't it? I mean, I've never seen him do anything like that before, but very, very dangerous, and it was right to, you know, to send him off. 5 games, you could argue it's probably a little bit harsh, but you know that they're clamping down on fouls in the UK and also Australia, so there's been a number of sending offs, number of suspensions without being sending off, so the pennies are going to drop with the players. You know, you just can't do foul play anymore. I wouldn't have played a great deal of rugby league if I was playing in the current era, Mark. But
you wouldn't play very often.
No, I wouldn't. But that's what's happened. So players have got to adhere to that, which I'm sure they will. You know, first few rounds it's always a bit fast and furious, but I'm sure it'll settle down.
I know what the RFL are going to do. They're going to bring back a show they're going to bring back a show called Sin Bin, where they're going to explain these suspensions. I think that's great news, because I've seen a lot on social media slagging off, saying, oh, we're wrong. They're going to bring back a show that's going to explain why the player's been suspended, called the Sin Bin. So well done to the RFL. Right then, that's disciplinary. Let's end on some brilliance with Try of the Week.
Hello and welcome to Try of the Week. I'm Ross Fides and here are this week's contenders. Try number 1, and we start with Featherstone Rovers at home to London Broncos. Morgan Smith now to Junior Moores. Nice offload there and a neat little dummy pass from Pickersgill, who touches down for his second of the day. Try number 2, and we stay at the Millennium Stadium. Featherstone are on the attack again, but look at this. The pass is out to Moores, but Leyland is there to intercept it, and he's away. The Broncos are back on the board. Try number 3 now, and Joe Mellor's showing off here. The kick is perfect, and he races through to collect. I mean, it's just pure skill from the captain at Lee. Try number 4, and the sun's shining up in Newcastle. It's right place, right time for this one. The ball bounces kindly for the away side, but look at this. It comes off a Thunder defender, and new signing Bishop takes it over for Whitehaven. We're off to Dewsbury now for try number 5, and the Rams are in attack. Neat little dummy pass there, and he gets it out to big prop forward Harry Kidd, who crashes over for Dewsbury's first try of the game. And finally, try number 6, same game, different side. Widnes in attack this time. It's Ince out on the edge. He stays just in the field of play, passes to Fleming with Roby in support, who goes over for his second try in front of the away support. 6 tries, but only 1 winner. Head to the R-League app now to vote for your favourite.
Right, get voting now. Right, fellas, I really, really enjoyed your company. Carl, thanks for coming in.
Thank you,
let's just recap. Only 2 games in, but there's a lot of confidence in your squad, isn't there?
Yeah, no, definitely. You know, we've got a fantastic mix at Saints of experience, youth, speed, balance, aggression. You know, we've got that throughout the whole club, and you know, not just in the 17. We've got an almighty, you know, sort of 17 to sort of 23, 24 who could arguably be playing Super League week in, week out. So that depth that I mentioned earlier that perhaps was lacking in Toulouse, well, we've got it at Saints, and as do a number of other clubs. So you know, we've just got to, again, like I mentioned, keep hungry, keep working hard, and just keep wanting it, and the rest should take care of itself, hopefully.
And Moz, we often put ourselves down in Rugby League, but we've got Channel 4 coverage. We've had some great games. The Women's Super League will be starting very, very shortly. We've got the Challenge Cup this weekend, and we're in a World Cup year as well.
Well, it doesn't get much better, does it? But, you know, you mentioned before the figures, very, very encouraging, as they are all the time for Sky, but Channel 4, but very important. I feel you get, you know, our great product on domestic TV, and you know, we're going to have the Challenge Cup on BBC as well. So fantastic, yeah. You know, very, very exciting time for Rugby League, and can't get enough of it.
Well, the Challenge Cup is also on the Sportsman this weekend as well. 3 o'clock on Sunday, York versus Newcastle. This man will be the co-commentator. Will you come on again?
Yeah, absolutely. No, definitely.
You've got no choice, all right? See you next week, next Wednesday at 6 o'clock. But make sure you watch the 4th round of the Betfred Challenge Cup live on his channel on Sunday at 3 o'clock. See you then.